is 1958. Dwight D. Eisenhower is president. According to the U.S. Department of Commerce, the average income for white men is $4,569. The average income for black males that year was half that. The African American community, then either termed colored or that Spanish word that means black, were about 80 years or so out of Reconstruction, which left African Americans haphazardly thrust in a society that still largely viewed them as outsiders. Thus led to the creation of black codes in Jim Crow, which plagued African Americans in the South. By the early 30s, African Americans began leaving the South in droves. This brings us to Detroit, Michigan. In September of 1935, Eleanor Roosevelt helped dedicate the Brewster Homes, the nation's first federally funded housing project for African Americans. "23 years later, 5 young black girls would form a group amid the towering projects. These teenagers included Diana Ross, Florence Ballard, and Mary Wilson, and that group, the Primettes, would go on to be renamed the Supremes.
Look at me now. Look at me. See what loving you has done to me. Look at my face. See how crime has left its trace. After you made me on your own, then you left me all alone. You made your words sound so sweet. But you're not there, and the lonely cry fades in the air.
The Primettes, however, in the time that preceded their signing to Motown Records, did end up recording a single on Lupine Records entitled Tears of Sorrow, which was released in 1960. By that time, Betty McLeod had left the group to start a family and was replaced by Barbara Martin. The group was intended to be a sister act to the Primes, a local act that would become the Temptations. After being rejected by the CEO of Motown Records for being too young, on January 1st, 1961, Diana Ross, Florence Ballard, Mary Wilson, and Barbara Martin signed with Motown Records. There was just one condition. Their name had to go. Thus the group was renamed the Supremes. Their first single on Motown Records, just 2 months after their signing, was released, entitled I Want a Guy. The single failed to chart, and their second single, Buttered Popcorn, which featured Florence on lead vocals, was a regional hit, but failed to garner traction nationally. Their third release, Your Heart Belongs to Me, managed to break the Hot 100, albeit at number 95. They were quickly building a reputation as the no-hit Supremes around Motown. Their fourth single, Let Me Go the Right Way, was their first to appear on R&B charts. A little over a month after Let Me Go the Right Way, Motown released The Supremes' debut album entitled Meet the Supremes. The album largely went unnoticed. In 1963, they returned with A Breathtaking Guy, which peaked at number 75 on the pop charts. In October of that year, they released the single that would be their first top 40 hit, When the Love Light Starts Shining Through His Eyes. Due to the success of the song, Brian Holland, Lamont Dozier, and Eddie Holland, the writers of When the Love Light Starts, were chosen as the group's main producers. Their next single, Run, 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 did not match its predecessor's success. It would take a song originally written for the Marvelettes to score the Supremes a #1 hit. In April of 1964, Diana, Mary, and Flo recorded Where Did Our Love Go? And on June 17th, Motown released the single. Just over a month later, the song topped the pop charts, and unknowingly, a pop phenomena, unrivaled until TLC and later Destiny's Child would be unleashed on to U.S. Airways. August also saw the release of their second album, aptly titled Where Did Our Love Go? The next singles from the album, Baby Love and Come See About Me, also went #1. Thanks to their success, the Supremes made their first appearance on Ed Sullivan in December of 1964.
Crying, 'cause I'm lonely for you. Smiles have all turned to tears, but tears won't wash away the fears that you never ever gonna return to ease this fire that within me burns. It keeps me crying, baby, for you. It keeps me crying, baby, for you. So won't you hurry? Come on, boy, and see about me. See about me. See about you, baby. See about me. I've given up my friends just for you. My friends are gone and you have to. No peace shall I find until you come back and be mine. No matter what you do or say, I'm gonna love you anyway. It keeps me
That year,
crying.
they also appeared on at least 7 other documented television shows, such as Shindig and The Steve Allen Playhouse.
Baby love, I need you, I need you. But all you do is treat me bad, break my heart and leave me sad. Tell me what did I do wrong to make you stay away so long? But baby love, my baby
They returned to the studio, and with the coming new year came a new single. Stop in the Name of Love returned the Supremes to the #1 spot on the pop charts, making it their 4th consecutive #1. Their next single, Back in My Arms Again, also went #1. Motown was confident that their next single would continue the chain, but Nothing But Heartaches would only peak at #11 on the pop charts. The next single, Mother Dear, was canceled, and a different sound was chosen for their next single, I Hear a Symphony. It would return the Supremes to the top of the pop charts.
Whenever you're near, a symphony, a tender melody. Every time your lips meet mine, baby, when I hear a symphony, a tender melody, pulling me closer, closer to your arms, then suddenly
Their next two singles, My World Is Empty and Love Is Like an Itching in My Heart, were both top 10 pop hits. In February of 1966, I Hear a Symphony was released. They would score yet another #1 hit in July with You Can't Hurry Love.
I need to find someone to call mine, but Mama said you can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy. It's a game of a give and take. You can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. She said just give it time. No matter how long it takes, but how many heartaches must I stay?
late 1966, there are already rumors circulating of the group's eventual breakup, rumors which the trio vehemently denied in a 1966 Jet magazine write-up. However, the truth is, Berry Gordy was, in fact, planning for Diana to go solo around this time, and there was also to be the release of an anthology of sorts of the Supremes' hits up to that point in order to help promote an eventual solo release by Diana. But that album, which was to be entitled Pure Gold, was scrapped.
1, 7, 8, 9, 3.
I never met a boy who makes me feel the way that you do. You're all right.
In August of 1966, the Supremes' A Go-Go was released.
You're out of sight. So fee, fi, fo, fum. Look out, baby, 'cause here I come. And set me free, why don't you, babe? Get out my life, why don't you, babe? 'Cause you don't really love me. You just keep me hanging on.
It was quickly followed by another single, You Keep Me Hanging On. It peaked at #1 on the pop charts.
Why do you keep a coming around, playing with my heart? Why don't you get out of my life and let me make a new start? Let me get over you the way you gotten over me. Hey, set me free, why don't you, babe? Let me be, why don't you, babe?
Our latest recording just released about a week ago, and this is the first time it's ever been done on television, and it's entitled Love Is Here and Now You're Gone.
Love is here, and oh my darling, now you're gone.
By January of 1967, the Supremes had 8 #1 pop singles. They'd garnered 2 more that year with Love Is Here and Now You're Gone,
And I did, but instead of tenderness, I found heartache instead. Into your arms I fell, so unaware of the loneliness that was waiting Hey, light, look at me. I can see the reality. 'Cause when you shook me, took me out of my world, I woke up. And suddenly I just woke up. Took a half time when you find out.
and The Happening.
'Cause when you got a tender love, you don't take care of. Then you better beware of. One day you're on, one day you're right.
By this point, Diana Ross was engaged in a romantic relationship with Berry Gordy, who was also grooming her for an eventual solo career.
My world is empty without you, babe. My world is empty.
These are the Supremes, whose score on hits is near perfect.
Berry felt Diana's contribution to the group was such that the name had to reflect it. So thus, the Supremes became Diana Ross and the Supremes.
I need your strength, I need your tender touch.
The Supremes started singing professionally at 18, and in the 4 years since have become America's top female singing group.
This name change, coupled with the fast-paced touring and promotional schedule, as well as addiction, all became too much for Flo, who departed the group in the summer of 1967 after missing several shows. She was replaced with Cindy Birdsong, who bore such a strong resemblance to Florence that many passing fans barely noticed the difference.
Through the mirror of my mind, time after time, I see reflections of you and me. Reflections of the way life used to be. Reflections of the love it took from me. I'm all alone now, no love to shield me.
The group continued, but after the happening, their singles failed to top the charts. Reflections
Yes, you took from me. Keep falling in and out of love.
In and Out of Love.
Search for what I'm dreaming of. I long to find a love I'm sure about. There you were, standing there as your eyes reached out to me. Something warm in your eyes touched my heart right then and there. All the love I never knew I found in you. Suddenly, my world stood still. My life was then fulfilled. As you gently touched my hand, I knew that we had laid a plan for an everlasting love that I've been forever dreaming of. At last, ooh, at last, my forever came today when you walked into my life.
And Forever Came Today all saw varying degrees of success.
Came today, forever came today. As you were standing there, I didn't speak a single word. Some things you never get used to.
However, by the release of Some Things You Never Get Used To in 1969, Berry Gordy knew the Supremes desperately needed a new sound. So he formed the Clan, comprised of various producers and writers with the goal of writing a hit for the Supremes. Out of that came Love Child, their third best-selling single.
You think that I don't feel love, but what I feel for you is real love. In others' eyes I see reflected, I hurt, scorned, rejected, love child. Never meant to be, love child. Born in the arms of Eve, love child. Never meant to be, love child. So take a look at me, started my life in an old, cold, run-down tenement slum. My father left, he never even married Mom. I shared the guilt my mama knew, so afraid that others knew I had no name. This love will come.
The Supremes, by this point, was essentially Diana and the Girls, as it was clear she was being primed for a solo career. And on January 14, 1970, she gave her final performance with the group at the Frontier Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Her replacement, Jean Terrell, was also introduced that evening. Thus ended the 60s Supremes and ushered in a completely new era, the new Supremes, which really was just a continuation of what they'd been doing.
Come with me. We shall run across the sky and illuminate the night. Oh, we'll try and guide you to better times and brighter days. Don't be afraid.
In February, Motown released the single Up the Ladder to the Roof. It was a success overseas and within the States, peaking at number 10 on the pop charts. The song was called a blockbuster by Billboard magazine.
Heaven, to heaven, stand with me. Shall let expression sing. We are virtues, lift you here, bring memories of yesterday. Yesterday's broken dreams, don't you know? They'll all fade away.
In April, the first album with the new lineup was released, entitled Right On. Just a few months later, a second single, Everybody's Got the Right to Love, which was a top 20 pop hit, followed.
Everybody's got the right to love.
Who else could that be but the fabulous Supremes?
Is a face that appears in the nearest mirror. You gotta get it going, and somehow knowing you're gonna have it better than you've ever had it. 'Cause everybody needs somebody. Oh yeah, yeah. Sing it, yeah. Everybody needs somebody. Oh yeah, yeah. Wait for me, I say, but if it's you, 'cause if you can give it.
5 months later, the trio released an album with the Four Tops, entitled The Magnificent Seven, which was a moderate success and spawned 2 singles. The next month, Motown released their album, entitled New Ways, But Love Stays the Same. A single was released that month as well, entitled Stone Love.
Stone love. Stone love. Oh yeah. A love for each other will bring fighting to an end. Forgiving one another. Time.
The single would go on to peak at number 7 on the pop charts.
Lights up the sky with a message from above. Oh yeah, I find no other greater symbol of love. Yeah, don't you hear the wind blowing? Stone love. Oh yeah, I tell you I ain't got no other. Stone love.
In 1971, the Supremes scored a top 20 hit with Nathan Jones, which also continued their success overseas. Motown released a second Four Tops collaboration album entitled The Return of the Magnificent Seven, which saw similar chart success as the first Magnificent Seven album. They released a third LP, Touch, in June of that year. In December, Motown released a third Four Tops collaboration entitled Dynamite. That same month, Motown also released Floyd Joy, which would go on to peak at number 16 on the pop charts. They released a second single, Automatically Sunshine, which was a top 40 charter. Another album soon followed, which was a top 60 charter on the US albums chart.
What you're doing to me, I didn't sleep at all.
The next album, which was quite literally called The Supremes, produced and arranged by Jimmy Webb, neglected to feature the trio on the cover. Instead, there was a dandelion. It was also Jean Terrell's final album with the group.
I guess I'll miss the man. Explain it if you can.
It spawned a single entitled I Guess I'll Miss the Man, which was featured in an advertisement for a line of wigs the Supremes had.
For style, grace, and glamour both on stage and off. Their wigs are from the Supreme collection, designed to give you that special look for every occasion. Hey, Supremes, what do you say?
Say, would you like to have lovely hair? Then our Supreme collection of wigs is for you. We think they're fabulous. Linda, fabulous.
You're watching the Supremes. They always look glamorous from head to toe. They're wearing wigs from the exciting Supreme collection, designed to make you look and feel like a superstar. Hey, Supremes, what do you say?
So, get your hair together and choose your wig from our Supreme collection. We think they're fabulous. Gee, fabulous.
By 1973, the Supremes were struggling. Cindy Birdsong was out on maternity leave, having been replaced temporarily by Linda Lawrence, who asked Stevie Wonder to compose a song for the trio. Out of that came Bad Weather, which got them back on the charts. It would be 2 years until they released another album.
How do you audition to be a Supreme? Now, you were an original. Wait a minute, who's the original? Well, you were in the original. Yes. Only one of three is. How do you audition? I mean, do they line up a lot of ladies when there's an opening in the Supremes and they go like this?
Unfortunately, well, should I say fortunately, we haven't held open auditions. No. We've been very fortunate in knowing when a girl is going to leave, and of course we thought of Linda immediately when she just first joined us. Hi. And I mean, like we had seen her perform with Stevie Wonder, so it was like we knew that we would accept her.
Is there a standby Supreme? I mean, an understudy in case one of you suddenly eats a bad clam or something the night, at dinner and you get sick? And
No, there isn't.
No, that's really funny you mention it because we've all had our real ill moments, but when it's time to go on, we go on feeling well.
Even sick. Oh, that
Even
must be
sick.
rough.
But I mean,
Wow.
you don't feel sick anymore. You feel like the show must go on, and all the illnesses just disappear until it's over, and then you come back down with it,
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. You go off stage and you feel sicker or sometimes.
Jean Terrell was replaced by Sherry Payne. self-titled project was released in May of 1975. In June, the single He's My Man was released. Cashbox magazine stated, "The Supremes don't give you 1 second of doubt on what may be the hottest R&B, disco, top 40 crossover records to emerge from the Motown camp in recent months." The single failed to chart on the pop charts and was followed by Where Do I Go From Here, which also failed to chart on the pop charts. In March of 1976, the single that would get them their first top 40 hit in 4 years was released, entitled I'm Gonna Let My Heart Do the Walking.
Here are the Supremes.
It came at a time of lineup changes and internal struggles for the group, one which was largely being held together by Mary Wilson. The following month, Motown released High Energy, which was also a top 40 charter. It was quickly followed up by Mary, Sherry, and Suzette, which spawned 3 singles. Just 9 months later, the group would be finished, as Mary Wilson wanted to embark on a solo career.
Soft and warm is your gentle touch when you give the love that I need so much. You are the dream that came to life.
Motown decided that with no original members, the group was done. By the time Mary Wilson debuted in 1979, the Supremes were undeniably icons in the music industry.
I see you walking up and down the street, and knowing that your other love you're gonna lose. But this time before you run to her.
It would take a Broadway play, however, to blow the story of three girls from the projects into the stuff that legends are made of. Tom Ewan's musical Dreamgirls premiered in December of 1981, and it told what was essentially the story of the Supremes, with names and dates changed. The musical was such a success that by the mid-80s, there were talks of a film adaptation. The success prompted Mary Wilson to publish a book, which rightfully centered herself as a dream girl in 1986, entitled Dream Girl, My Life as a Supreme. But that musical was only the peak of the iceberg. So, exactly how did the Supremes become legends? The first reason the Supremes became legends is their crossover appeal. Berry Gordy, the CEO of Motown, had a vision of the Supremes as a chic nightclub act with the music that would appeal to young audiences as well as their parents the generation before. It has been said the Supremes epitomize glitz, glamour, and excess.
Our schedules were grueling, and I never had enough sleep. My shoulders were always high. I used to carry them right up to my neck. It got so bad, Barry was often at a loss to know what to do with me.
The Supremes!
This is something they were forced to do in order to fulfill Berry Gordy's vision. Additionally, the Supremes had a workload like none other during their height. Weeks were spent on tours, with breaks to record, then the touring would resume. This is explored in Diana Ross's memoir, Secrets of a Sparrow.
The highs were high, but the tension that accompanied them, the work that was required to maintain our performance quality during the recording and the extensive touring was overwhelming and debilitating. It was a hard time then, a public time. We were whisked in and out of cars and tour buses, and we were constantly being probed and interviewed about all facets of our lives.
Another reason is the Supremes, for a time, had the most consecutive number ones for a group or ensemble in the States, a feat not rivaled until the VeeJays in 1978. Lastly, the Supremes, despite experiencing a decline in sales after the exit of Diana Ross, continued to release music, and despite the changes in the lineup, their sound remained consistent and fine-tuned. In conclusion, the Supremes became legends because of their immense crossover appeal, which was aided in part by the recording of pop standards and Broadway tunes and appearances at lush nightclubs such as the Copa and the Flamingo. This appeal, coupled with an intensive workload that stretched across seas, as well as their endurance, meant that for years after their 1977 dissolution, which was marked with disappearance, the Supremes would remain just that, supreme.
The Supreme.
And who's the boss?
The boss. The boss. Mother Supreme.